Hi there, welcome to the first episode of today's 10-minute moans. And the topic of this 10-minute moan is quite a sad affair that took place in George Square this afternoon. Now, the thing was about marking the anniversary of the independence referendum, which came back with a no vote. So you kind of think if anybody was celebrating such a landmark anniversary as the 10th anniversary of that referendum, it would be unionists like myself who got the result we wanted at the referendum. But no, it was the independence mob that had a 10th anniversary rally to celebrate the referendum that they lost. You are as confused as I am, and no doubt that was a reason for the poor turnout at such an event. And Alex Salmond was amongst those numerous speakers at the event, where they had music as well. But one thing I found most peculiar, there's a photograph in the BBC News website that shows Mr. Salmond on stage with a man to the left of him just holding a yes placard. I'm not really sure what he's doing, but he's got a kilt on, so he must be a proper Scotsman. But what I want to bring your attention to is the banner behind him that says, "Hope over fear, the dream will never die." And on the right-hand side of that logo is a Palestine flag. I'm kind of lost with that. Now, if you are pro-Scottish independence, I should say, then you could be pro-Palestinian. But does that mean the people who want independence must all be pro-Palestinian? Because if I was pro-Indy, I may not be pro-Palestine, and that would probably put me off. So I thought it was quite a strange thing to have on a banner telling everybody the dream will never die. And you're right, dreams can't die, but reality can. And having a successful outcome to your dream isn't a given. And with the sorry state of the attendees at that rally, I kind of think should give up. Especially think the people that should really give up on the independence, at least for 5 years, are the people that are in government in Scotland. Because since independence referendum 10 years ago, they've never shut up about it in Parliament and keep going on about independence, when really their job is to govern the country with the rule book you've got called devolution. And if you can't cope with that, don't take a job. So anyway, the BBC covered the event, and I think they're the only mainstream outlet so far to cover the event. And it says, Salmond addresses rally to mark referendum anniversary. Former First Minister Alex Salmond has addressed a pro-independence rally in Glasgow held by grassroots campaign Hope Over Fear. Almost 10 years on from the independence referendum, Salmond, who now leads the Alba party, said Scotland had to take the step towards independence. He said there had been 10 years of mandates since 2014, and the zombie parliament at Holyrood had done nothing. Quite what these 10 years worth of mandates look like, I'm kind of unsure. But on the 18th of September 2014, more than 2 million people, 55%, voted no in response to the question, should Scotland be an independent country? The following day, Salmond announced he would stand down as First Minister and SNP leader. Speaking at the event in George Square on Saturday, the former MP and MSP criticised successive Westminster governments over soaring energy bills despite Scotland's oil and gas resources. Now, was it not the Scottish government that just pawned all our offshore wind leases to foreign companies? Which means they get the profit. And now we subsidise them. When they don't need any power to be taken from their source, we give them money. And when we do take some power from their sources, because it's a green power, not only do we give them market price for the energy, we give them a top-up because it's nice and cuddly. So that's where our money goes. And that's why our bills are high. But that'll be Westminster's fault. He talked about the need for independence in light of the hundreds of thousands of pensioners facing fuel poverty. Salmond said he intended to lead a group into Parliament and get a majority of pro-independence MSPs. He said that any MPs or MSPs elected to Parliament had to be the real thing. I do actually agree with this next sentence that Alex said, because I've said it often myself. We have to take some adults back into the room, he said. I 100% agree with that, Alex. But when the adults are in the room, could they not the nonsense about independence, please, just for 5 years till we try and sort the shite out that the SNP have caused in 17? That would be quite nice. He said recent developments, including the closure of the Grangemouth oil refinery, highlighted that independence had never been required more urgently. Well, again, what has the Scottish Government done about saving Grangemouth? Well, they've kind of killed its custom because they don't want oil to be taken out of our oil fields. They don't want to issue new exploration certificates, etc. So how does that help keep Grangemouth? It refines oil. How does that keep it going? Other speakers to address the crowd made up hundreds of independent supporters. Hundreds, I would say 200 to 300, including former Scottish Socialist Party leader Tommy Sheridan and ex-SNP MPs Angus MacNeil and Kenny McCaskill. MacNeil was expelled from the SNP and went on to stand for Westminster as an independent candidate. McCaskill quit the SNP and joined Salmond's Alba party. He addressed the rally about the closure of the Grangemouth oil refinery. The crowds also listened to musical performances. And it looked like a terribly fun day for those in poor numbers in attendance. So the other weird thing was, so this is a pro-Scotland, pro-Indy thing, right? And last weekend we had a pro-UK rally. I attended the pro-UK rally. I spoke at the pro-UK rally. And what we faced there was a very hostile counter-protest, where we were faced by trade unions, Socialist Workers' Party, and some very odd-looking human beings shouting that I was a racist and such stuff. However, today, at a pro-Scottish rally, nobody turned up. There was no counter-protest, there was no unions, there was no of the normally, as you would quite possibly describe them, a rent-a-mob. You know, these people that turn up at the pro-anything, pro-Palestine, anti-Israel, anti-fascist, anti-Nazi, all that nonsense. See them? They weren't there. Not one single placard from a union or from any of these socialist worker parties. So it's quite evidently shows you how these people, whatever their theme is this week, normally get their numbers up. And it was quite sad to see. Well, not really sad for me. It was sad for them. They had all these big names up on the stage. I think they had about a dozen or nearly a dozen speakers. Billed as the dream will never die. And I seriously think, we're led to believe the majority of people in Scotland want independence. And if that is the case, surely you'd be able to find at least one that was half decent at graphic design and not one that's cobbled it about in a free programme on their computer, and the only Palestinian stroke Scotland flag they could find was a JPEG of a lapel badge to stick on their logos and a wee fairy for good measure. Quite unsure what the wee fairy is. That the wee Scottish indie fairy? She's going to make us all wake up one day with her magic fairy dust and make Scotland a fantastic independent country? Well, I jest, as I don't think even an independence fairy, if there is such a thing, could make Scotland a strong power as an independent nation. But who am I? I'm just a mere unionist. But it just makes me laugh. This mob are meant to be 10, 12 years into their campaigning, and nobody's bothered anymore. So I know it must be tough, and I think that's why we saw such a great number at the counter-protest. There was more people countering the UK rally last week than attended the pro-Indy one today, and that's telling. But these people are scared. They think their dreams are dying because the vehicle used that was supposed to give them and deliver them that its independence was SNP, and they're fading into significance. And it must be tough. But Tommy Sheridan seems to be driving this narrative that the dream will never die. Good for you, son. Great, fill your boots. Dream all you like. Reality will. Reality's already dead. You will not have your independence. And hope over fear. Fear of what? So we just have hope. Just have hope and dreams. That's it. No reality whatsoever. There's something else there and I just can't make it out. We were just something. Neds? I don't know. It looks like an EDS at the end of it. But I can't make it out because we Alex standing in front of that bit of the banner. But there you go. hope over fear, dream will never die rally of the day, absolutely chronic, and a lot of nonsense spoke by the speakers. But it'll probably get a bit more media coverage than any of the pro-UK rally speakers did last week, and I found that most peculiar, but I did state before the rally that would happen, that nothing that was said on the stage would be put out in the real mainstream media, because it would have disproved the narrative that it was fascist or racist or Nazi, because nothing said on the stage by the speakers was either. But today, Alex Salmond and some other cuddly nice, indie types, they get their quotes in the papers, and that's what we're up against. But we will win. So, if you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you've not already done so, please hit the subscribe and notifications bell. Get involved in the comments below. There's always good banter in there. Most importantly of all, Mr. Tommy Sheridan, or any of these cult members that are remaining in the independence movement, know them, but
everyone else, have a great day. Cheerio, bye now.